What revenge of yours hit the victim way worse than you thought it would? To the point you said, maybe I shouldn't have done that? Had a roommate who basically let his new girlfriend move into our house in college. She helped herself to everything in the house but never contributed. Finally, she parked in my parking spot, and that was my breaking point. I let all the air out of all of her tires, thinking she'd just air them back up, and it would be an inconvenience. Instead, she ended up buying all new tires. Whoops, never came clean about it. Coworker, and I had a friendly prank war spanning 2 years. Close to the end of our war, he iced my car. Icing involves taking the hose to the parking lot every half hour and spraying a light. Mist over your victim's car when it's below zero out. I finished my 12-hour shift to find a car encased in 2 inches of ice. My revenge was. I thought both more inconvenient for him and less freezing my balls off for me. I decided to take a bedsheet, drape it over his car, and only took 4 or 5 trips out with the hose the next night. So the next morning he finds his car with a 1/4 inch of ice freezing the sheet to his car. When he started peeling off the sheet, he pulled his windshield wipers, arms and all off of his ratty Jeep. I got a very pissed off phone call. I felt bad. The unwritten rule was embarrassing or inconvenient, no damage. I paid for repairs, and he got his revenge. He planted a dozen pieces of smoked herring throughout my car. Took me 6 months to find the last piece, hidden under the carpet under the back window of my car. I can still smell it. I don't even own the car anymore. When I was little, my friends kept pointing at the little girl on the box of the board game Operation and saying it looks like me. So I pointed at the big fat guy and said, "That's your mom," and didn't realize she was behind me. Back in middle school, a friend of mine threw a small, wadded piece of paper at me. I retaliated by throwing the only thing I could find, which was mud close to my shoes. Smacked him right in the face with it. Worst part is, it turned out to be dog shit that was at the bottom of my shoe. I still vividly remember his angry, "What the fuck, man, I throw paper at you, and you throw dog shit?" My older brother was always quite horrible to me as a child, and my parents never really did much about it. He was also much bigger than me, so I couldn't retaliate in a physical way, because I would be swiftly crippled cross-faced walls of Jericho. One day I had just had enough of my revenge. He had been playing Rome Total War for a good 6 hours a day for about 3 weeks. I started a new game and overwrote his save file. Never seen fury like it. I regretted it at the time, cause he was so angry, it scared me, and it made him dislike me even more. But now I praise my 13-year-old self for hitting him where it clearly hurt most. I think I have told this before, but I think I was 15 and was in class and sat next to a friend of mine. He, for no reason, began to say, "Ha, ha, your bald father," which I followed up with, "Ha, ha, your bald mother." He started crying and ran to the teacher. I honestly forgot his mom had cancer and was getting chemo. I don't know what it was, but a lot of the boys in my 6th grade class thought it was hilarious to try and trick people. They get your ass no matter how careful you were. Well, I was pretty good at avoiding it, but when I was in gym class, this kid named Joey got my ass hard. I was dribbling down court and he nailed me. I face planted hard. So I thought about how to get him, and I got him at lunch. He was holding a lunch tray, so his hands weren't as useful. He nailed a table and lost a tooth. I got suspended for 10 days, and a strict no-tripping policy got implemented, immediate suspensions if caught. Shit sucked. My dad beat my ass raw. Sorry, Joey. Had a big group of friends from 13 to 18. When we were 17, one of them stole my girlfriend. To be fair, he legitimately knew we were going out. He got her drunk and shagged her at a party. He knew I'd find out. Said to my face he didn't care. Tough shit, mate. It was her fault as well, of course. She wasn't passed out or anything like that. She had been leading him on and was sober enough to consent, if drunk enough to get over the social stigma of actually doing it. So, from that point on, our group of friends just cut this guy out of our circle. We stopped inviting him to stuff. If he tried to hang out, we told him to piss off. Mates that had been friends with him since primary school just ignored him. Initially, I was super proud of this show of solidarity from my brothers. My best mate was actually dating my now ex-girlfriend's best mate. And he split up with her because of her attitude about the whole thing, trying to defend her friend to him and make him hang out with them as a foursome So, first summer back from uni. We're all 19 to 20. We see him in a local pub. I don't know what to do. Decide to try and be cool about it and go up to say hi. He tells me to fuck off. I guess he blames me for all his friends cutting him out of his life. I don't get the chance to explain that I in no way asked them to do that. They just did what they saw as the right thing. 2 weeks later, we're in the same pub, and I see his younger sister. She's 17 now, very, very attractive. I start a conversation with her about her brother and how I feel bad about what we did. She says that it did really hurt him, but he's got some new friends now, mostly from uni, and is still with my ex, despite a long-distance relationship over the uni semesters. He won't talk to any of us old friends though, which I think is a genuine shame. He's known some of the guys since we were 5. One drink leads to another with this girl, and we end up back at her house. Her parents are away. Her brother is staying at my ex's flat. She has her own flat. Didn't go to uni. Got a job. So empty house. We end up shagging. Next morning, her bro calls round just as I'm leaving. The look on his face as he works out what's happened. He goes from utter despair to absolutely mental in about half a second. Eventually, I just had to leave. His sister finally managed to explain to him that it was nothing to do with revenge or anything, and that I was genuinely sorry for how we treated him. I don't know if she told him the whole conversation we had about how I'd feel bad as I didn't want to upset him anymore. And she convinced me to come back to hers by saying she was her own woman, could make her own decisions, and he wasn't due to be home at any time. If he hadn't have randomly turned up, I hope he'd have never known. He still won't accept my Facebook friend request though. Edit. To clarify a few little bits. And I believe it is customary to thank the kind stranger for my first ever Reddit gold. Thank you very much. I guess revenge implies thinking out the act, or sometime between acts. But at the age of 14, I was rolling up the hose in my backyard with a friend since my mother told me to. The 2 girls. Next door, we're playing in their backyard and come over to talk. One 12 or so, the other 7. The 12-year-old happened to be standing on the hose, and I asked her to move. She did not. I pulled the hose hard enough to make her fall over. At this point, the 7-year-old screamed bloody murder and ran right at me and bit my right on the stomach. She was not letting go, and I could see blood starting to stain my shirt. I grabbed her head and tried to pull her away, but nothing, so I just full-on punched her right in her eye. I was and not proud of this, but it had to be done. What was worse is that the house was owned by a local church where I happened to go to Boy Scouts. Everyone quickly knew I had punched a 7-year-old and given her a black eye, but no one cared why. When I was a kid, I was at a local river, a great swimming spot lots of people came to. My friend pushes me in the river, and naturally I came up spluttering and a little red in the face, but it was all in good fun. For the rest of the day, I planned to get her back, waiting for my opportunity to push her in, until she was at the edge of the river drying off. I pushed her, but her flailing and the slippery nature of the rock she was on made her slip on the spot. And instead of just splashing into the water, she landed on her back hitting the rocks hard, and then fell into the water. She was winded, but thankfully otherwise unharmed. Our parents were furious at me, and I just spent the few seconds it took to get her out. Felt like a lot longer to me, just hoping I hadn't broken her back or something 2/10. Revenge. Would not do again. I was 11. My older brother was 16. We would fight and argue, but one time I was running up the stairs away from him, and he whipped the back of my legs with a long rubber chew toy. It left a pretty big figure-8-shaped welt on my legs. I knew he was faster and stronger than me, and I knew if I tried to attack him, he'd stop me. So I grabbed a flathead screwdriver and held it over the stove until it was red hot. I ran up to him and very openly went to stab him, knowing he'd stop me. He grabbed my wrist to stop my thrust, as anticipated, and I pushed the red-hot head of it into his forearm as hard as I could. Man, I was a crazy asshole as a kid. Sorry, Mike. I was dating this girl and my friends saw her around town a few times and humiliated her in an effort to embarrass me. I told him to stop bothering her, but he did it again. That night I convinced him to try getting back together with his wildly insane and manipulative ex that he hadn't spoken to in years. Thinking that he would just humiliate himself by trying. Well, they banged and got back together for a while and had a baby. Now they're terrible single parents. When I was bullied by some local kids, I filled the petrol tank of their family car with grass, dirt, sticks, and stones, bottle caps, pretty much anything I could jam into the petrol tank. Felt sorry for that poor car. When I was about 7 or 8, there was this girl at my school that was absolutely horrible. We'll call her Cindy. Cindy would run up to you and pull your hair out, steal the toy you were playing with, eat your snack at snack time, etc. In other words, she was a real bitch. One day, as we were finishing up recess in the playground, she came up to me, pulled my hair, and took some with it. That was the last straw. As the teacher was gathering everyone inside and wasn't looking our way, I grabbed Cindy by her pigtail and dragged her over to the playground. Now, this playground was built weird with a sort of enclosed area in the middle of 3 bridges that formed the triangle that you couldn't get out of. Sometimes us bigger kids would jump in there during hide and seek and climb out later. But Cindy couldn't because she was shorter. So I picked her up and threw her down in there and left to go back inside. It wasn't until about an hour later when the teacher realized that Cindy wasn't in class. I didn't say where she was, and it took them another half hour to find her. I got in trouble and had to spend the next week in the principal's office and lost my Game Boy for a month. But Cindy never messed with me again. Edit. A lot of people are wondering how the playground was laid out. So picture the playground like this, but where any of the bridges were. They were walled off on the bottom. I'd why it was designed like that. But that's how the pit was formed. Also, as far as people saying it didn't sound like I had many regrets doing it, I did regret it immediately since I was on my first playthrough of Pokemon Red when I had my Game Boy taken away from me for a month. I was devastated, and it was one of the longest months of my childhood. Now I couldn't care less. When I was in 5th grade, my teacher gave out a shit ton of homework one day, so I got the whole class to help me write a letter to the principal. She found out and cried and shit. I felt really horrible because she was just trying to get us ready for a test coming up. I still feel really bad every time. I think about it. Way back in elementary school, a friend threw a piece of chalk that hit me square in the forehead. It was the most humiliating moment for younger me, as everyone who saw that started laughing their asses off. Kids are shows. I plotted and planned my revenge to get back in the exact same fashion over the next couple of days. One fine day, weapon in hand, I find him perfectly placed a chalk throw away from me. I yell out his name and quickly launch the projectile as he spins around. For some reason, he had his mouth open as he looked at me, and the piece of chalk flew directly into his throat. His eyes widened and he starts choking. I stood frozen in shock as he fell on his knees coughing. Luckily, somebody grabbed him from behind and thumped his back, so he swallowed the piece. An adult walks in, cannot remember who it was at the time, but she looks at me and asks what happened. At this point, I'm shaking, realizing that I narrowly killed my friend. I say it was a mint. My friend, also shaken at this point, laughs it off, saying it went straight into his throat and he didn't taste it. The adult shakes her head and says next time, just hand it like a normal person, and walks away. Years later, when we were moving away to another country, I remind him about the incident and come clean about the whole thing. He snaps and yells, "I knew it!" Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss daily stories. If you like revenge, leave your comments and see you in the next video. Goodbye.